Delaney Burgess is a RE/MAX United Realtor in the Southern Maryland market. Delaney, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. I'm excited about this. I'm from Northern Virginia originally, and I wasn't one of those guys that did spring break on the eastern shore, the Maryland coast, but I had plenty of friends who did.
Oh,
So
yeah. That was
uh,
not something that I really ever did either.
But yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. I'm really looking forward to diving into a little bit of your Instagram marketing as well, and how you've grown that channel. You've done such a great job with that. Um,
Thank you.
First thing I always talk about is, because I find it fascinating to just listen to the stories that agents share about how they entered the real estate career. What drew them to the industry. Usually it's a winding path, and normally we were doing something that wasn't real estate related or something different prior to getting into the business. So let's share a little bit about Delaney Burgess, a little bit of your background and what led you to real estate.
Sure. So, right after high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't do that well in school, and I know I didn't want to go to college. I was like, please don't put me back in more school. So, I had a job working as a receptionist at a law firm, local to our area, and I worked there for a year, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. So, I just started kind of putting my feelers out there for jobs, and this agent in our area needed an assistant for a new construction community. And I was like, I'll do it. I know nothing about real estate. I was freshly out of high school. I don't think I even knew what a mortgage payment was. And I just took the job. I was like, happily do anything else but what I'm doing right now. So took the job and I worked unlicensed with her for I think 3 years. And then she was like, you should get your real estate license. Like, you're good at talking to people and, you're picking up on things. You should get your license. So went out and got my license shortly after that 3 year mark with her. And it's not something that I ever thought I was going to do. One, because I knew nothing about it, but two, before real estate, I was just an extremely, extremely, extremely shy person. You couldn't catch me talking to anybody just in passing. But now I'm like, hey, talking to everybody. So that's kind of how I got started. And then it just took off after that.
Jumping on a podcast wasn't something you I could have gotten you to do before you got your license, huh?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I love that you started your career by basically assisting and shadowing an
hmm
experienced agent. I think that that's just such a smart way for a real estate agent to build their foundation or build the foundation for a really successful career. You look back on it now and think, yeah, that was a great way to start.
Every young agent that I talk to or like someone who's thinking about getting their license, I'm like, be an assistant first because I got so much experience in those 3 years and I wasn't the one representing anyone. And especially being as young as I was and as new as I was, it's kind of scary thinking of people who just get their real estate license and then you're able to represent someone the next day in the biggest transaction of their life. Like, kind of learn the business and get comfortable with it before you jump right into it. So I am so glad that my path ended up taking me that way. I don't think I would have had such a successful start from when I did start to get licensed and start selling houses. I don't think I would have been as successful if I hadn't been an assistant first, for sure.
How old were you when you took that job as an assistant?
I think I was like 20, maybe 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, young, pretty inexperienced in,
hmm
I mean, I didn't really grow up until I was like 40. So like, please don't be insulted when I, when I say, like you had a lot to learn because, don't we all at
Yeah.
20? But yeah, that's amazing. And could you imagine, getting, your license and representing a buyer or seller, without that experience at that time?
No, and the best thing, well, the other best thing about that is it was new construction that I was really helping her with. So a lot of agents, they never get to work new construction, so they don't know how a house is built. They don't understand what's behind the drywall. And I was able to get that experience at a really young age. So I'm confident going into a new construction appointment and understand what they're talking about and being able to relay that to a client. So that was the other kind of benefit of starting that way. And I really don't think that, I think my first year licensed, I sold like 25 homes. And then it's just gone up since then. And there's no way that I would have been able to do that if I wasn't an unlicensed assistant first.
That's amazing. And yeah, those insights that you gained and all the knowledge that you gained and what you learned by witnessing the construction process
Hmm.
um, and and also working with that agent through those transactions as well must have been just like that was like perfect college for a realtor.
Right. At the time, I didn't realize how lucky I was, but
Hmm.
as I've gotten older and gotten through, I've had a couple of assistants who kind of tried to do the same thing. I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time, but it's like the best thing that someone could do for you. So I'm very thankful to that agent.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your market. Southern, I mentioned Southern Maryland. Let's get a little more specific. Tell me a little bit about
Mhm.
the areas that you serve and what that market's like.
Sure. So, Southern Maryland is a combination of a couple of counties. So, Calvert County, St. Mary's County, and Charles County. And it is the southernmost tip of the one peninsula of Maryland. So, those are the counties that I cover. And you really there's not a whole lot here. You get a lot of just farmland. There's a couple of big box stores and a couple of like hot locations where, you might find an apartment building. But for the most part, they're just like traditional homes, farms, a lot of water around us, which is really nice. A lot of waterfront properties that you can get for a pretty decent price. We're about, I would say, an hour-ish outside of DC. So we get a lot of DC people buying second homes down by us because they're a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I kind of had a sense that there's a pretty decent amount of second homes in your
Hmm.
area, a pretty robust second home market there.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. We have this one town, North Beach, that has a little boardwalk. It's very, very small. But a lot of people buy properties there and Airbnb it. And then same with even further down south in the county, in Solomons and Lusby, a lot of very cheap waterfront where you can buy it and people put it on Airbnb or, use it as a second property. And it's not that far from DC for people who live in DC or Northern Virginia.
You mentioned Airbnb, and my ears perked up a little bit when anytime somebody brings up the short-term rental concept and
Uh-huh.
investing and that sort of thing. Not that I'm an investor or an expert at all, but I'm so fascinated by it and interested in it. Have you worked with? Do you work with investor clients? Have you had some experience working with folks who purchase properties for the short-term rental programs?
I've had people who've purchased like one or two, but not anyone who's bought multiple.
Mm.
Um, Kind of going back to there's not a lot here. There's also not really a lot of people here, so there's not a lot of
Yeah.
houses. But I've had people who have bought a couple at a time, but
Mm.
nothing crazy, and they're pretty successful actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great way. Are they generally owners who enjoy the property themselves, but also have it in the short-term rental program to kind of offset the cost?
Hmm.
Or are
Yeah.
they 100% like income producing? They never see the
Oh,
property.
um, I would say it's probably 50-50.
About
There's
50-50.
only, yeah, there's a couple people I know who don't live anywhere nearby and just strictly Airbnb it, but used to live here. And then
Uh-huh.
I have people who have bought it, they live in it when they come to visit, and then they Airbnb it when they're not there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I have, oh, sorry. I have one property that I was considering putting on Airbnb, but I feel like it's just a big risk and I couldn't. I couldn't make myself do it.
A property of your own?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Are you doing a longer term rental program for that,
Yes.
or yeah?
Yep. I have
Well,
a
it's
couple
go
longer
ahead.
term ones. And
Mm,
I was thinking about Airbnb-ing it, and I was just like, I can't do it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the area, right? As
Hmm.
well. I was just talking with a Charleston agent a little while ago, and we were talking about the short-term rental market and in Charleston versus long-term rental. And he's like, long-term rental, if you're breaking even, you're doing okay. That is if you
Yeah.
have if you have a note on the home.
Hmm.
But short-term rental is like in Charleston, if you're not profitable, generating income through short-term rental, you're probably doing something wrong.
Oh,
But
wow.
Charleston's such a hospitality city. It's a
Hmm.
city, and tourism's such a big part of their economy. It sounds
Hmm.
like it's a little bit quieter out there in southern Maryland.
Yeah. Much quieter than Charleston.
Much quieter.
Yeah.
How long have you been practicing real estate?
So I think I just hit 10 years licensed.
Mhm.
But then those 3 years unlicensed of also experience.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been in the industry for 13 years, licensed for
Hmm.
10. And
Hmm.
what are some things that you like kind of stand out to you that looking back, if you could tell younger Delaney, uh, what do you know now that you'd wish you'd known then? Anything that like kind of stands out that comes to mind?
Oh gosh. What could I tell my younger self?
1,000 things.
Yeah, so much, so much. The one thing that I probably would, that is like also one of my biggest suggestions to newer agents is to make sure that you are saving enough money for taxes because that is just, you would never believe how much taxes you have to pay.
Hmm.
So, probably just like prepare for taxes, and make sure you have your LLC set up. Talk to an accountant, talk to a financial advisor way like as soon as you've started because I got, started with my conversations with my accountant and my financial advisor like a couple years in, and we just had to do so much catch up and clean up from years past that I wish I just would have started that sooner
Yeah.
and been more organized from the very beginning. So probably I would go back and tell her that, like, go make those appointments and go sit. It's painful, but just do it.
Yeah. Set up that foundation, right?
Hmm.
That get yeah, I get that because we don't I think a lot of agents get into the industry and they don't realize that they're operating a business, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got started, again, I was so young, I didn't know, like, oh, I'm selling houses. Like, this is so much fun. And I'm meeting all these people. And it's like, no, girl, you are running a business. You have to treat it like a business and go meet with these people and take it seriously.
Do you what would you say the ratio is of listings to working with sellers and buyers? Is it about 50-50 or mostly listings?
I was 50-50 for a very, very long time. And last year, I think it was, or the year before, I said, I need to get more listings. Like, listings is where it's at.
Mhm.
So, this year, I think I only had like 39 buyers and a total of 87 transactions, whatever that math is. So, I definitely
Mhm.
had more sellers than buyers this year. And I had a little bit more sellers last year. But the goal is to, um, you know, I'd like to be like 75% listings.
Sure. Yeah. And that makes sense too, that as you're 10 years in licensed, that ratio is starting to turn a little, right? And
Hmm.
starting to transition to more sellers than buyers because all of those
Hmm.
buyers you served earlier in your career
Right.
eventually sell, right? So
Right.
more
Yes.
than likely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
it's a lot of right now is just kind of the turnover of people who've purchased who are ready to sell and now buy their next house.
Hmm.
So I can't remember if I said this already, but I was working with a lot of first-time home buyers when I first got licensed. And now it's not so much first-time home buyers. I still get them every now and then. They trickle in, but it's more like, okay, this is everyone kind of my age who's not buying their second property.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I love that. Also, 87 transactions. Wow. That's that's a busy year.
It was a busy year. It was a really crazy year for sure.
She says, gasping for for
Yes.
air.
Yeah. I was just talking to my accountant today, actually, and he's like, "So, what do you think this year is going to be?" And I said, "Well, I can tell you, I don't want to do 87 transactions again."
Yeah, yeah.
It was a hard year, but I
Sure.
pushed myself on purpose and did it, and it was a great, successful year.
That's awesome. Was that a record year for you?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
definitely,
amazing. Yeah,
definitely.
well
Thank
done.
you, thank you.
How you did that is a topic for a completely separate podcast episode.
Right.
So we'll have to circle back when you've recovered from 2025 to have that
Right.
conversation. Let's talk a little bit about your marketing.
Hmm.
I mentioned your Instagram marketing earlier, and
Hmm.
what are some of the different ways? Do you primarily lean on Instagram when it comes to marketing? Do you what are some other channels or other methods that you love to market to your sphere or to generate new leads?
Hmm. So, for the longest time, ever since I really, even before I was licensed, I was starting to post on Instagram. So I've been posting on Instagram for almost 13 years. So that's kind of been my bread and butter where I focus the majority of my time and energy. But I've always posted on Facebook and now I'm posting on TikTok. And then I also have like an email blast that I do a lot of marketing on that as well. But Instagram is, I love Instagram. I'm a millennial, so that is our app. So I focus a lot of time on there and just recently got into posting everything that I've been posting on Instagram on TikTok. I have an agent in my area who is pretty successful on it, and she's like, post on TikTok, post on TikTok. I'm getting leads, I'm getting leads. So trying to just post the same stuff on there, but it doesn't feel as good as Instagram feels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't taken that step. Haven't opened a TikTok account yet, and probably won't honestly at this point.
Yeah.
But I do know that it captures a lot of attention, has a lot of
Hmm.
users, and it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I sound a little obviously I'm going to sound a little ignorant here, but the content the reels that you post on Instagram. Uh, you don't have to edit it all. You can share the same thing on TikTok. Is that correct?
So I'm like a grandma when it comes to this. If you edit it on Instagram, you have to save it before you post it because if you post it and you download it, then it's going to have the Instagram
Hmm.
um, little icon on it.
Yeah.
So I keep forgetting to do that. So now when I post my videos on TikTok, it has the little Instagram logo. So I've been trying to get better at downloading it first. Um, but in my opinion, TikTok is harder to edit in. And I don't know if it's just because I'm used to Instagram, but if you don't download before you post, then yes, you are redoing it all in TikTok. And
G-
it's a lot.
Gotcha. I can tell by your your
Yeah, it's not,
expressions there that it's like just it can be a little annoying.
yeah, it's just not that easy. And I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just because I'm not in it enough, but Instagram is just like I can quickly
Yeah.
just put something together. TikTok, it's just not easy for me.
Yeah. Jumping at leveraging Instagram. Would you say 13 years? So
Hmm.
yeah, it was a great time. That you're an early adopter, really. I think that
Yeah.
was the early days of Instagram. So that's awesome. I love that.
Hmm.
Your Instagram marketing is excellent. The content that you share, your bio is informative. Like you got all it's just well organized and
Thank
presents
you.
really well. I love it.
Thank you.
Um, do you find that you have clients who engage with your Instagram account quite a bit? And have you experienced lead generation from your Instagram account too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, especially in the beginning, that's probably where I got all of my clients. You know, they tell you when you first get into real estate, like make your list of your sphere and like market to your sphere. And I never did that. I just like hopped on Instagram and started posting. So
Mhm.
in the beginning, for sure, that is really where I got all of my clients. And then now it's just steady leads, like maybe one every other day, every couple of days. And my clients definitely engage in my social media. They like it. They want their house posted. They want to see me posting about it. They want to see me talking about it. They every time, I do pop buys or, give them something, they like to tag me. They're all about it for sure. And the ones who aren't, make sure to tell me, hey, I'm not about being posted on Instagram, and that's fine with me. Just tell me and I won't do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. So you built your sphere really
hmm
on Instagram. That's really amazing. And then,
hmm
gosh, a lead every couple days. That's
hmm
powerful.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's just from staying consistent, and I think for as long as I have, it's just kind of second nature to get on there and post something.
that word consistent is key.
hmm
I love that you mentioned that. I think that's worth underscoring how important it is to be consistent. That's another conversation I have a lot with agents who join the podcast about the importance of consistency and the fact that there are a thousand ways. I say this all the time. There are a thousand ways that you can market your business,
hmm
and every single one of those ways works. So it doesn't
hmm
matter which one you choose. It'll work if you apply it consistently and
Right,
stick with it, right, for the
right.
long game.
Yep, I totally agree.
Oh, great job on Instagram. And that's what a
Thank
plug
you.
that is for Instagram marketing to
I know.
87 transactions, a couple, a lead every few days.
Yeah,
Wow, that's strong. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
Thank
I love
you.
that. So what do you have planned for 2026? Not besides not 87 transactions.
Yeah. So, in years past, I've done about 70 transactions. So I'd like to be somewhere around there that's doable. And, I'm still stressed out and I'm still tired, but it's doable. It's not 87. 87 almost took me out. So I'd like to do that and, personal life also.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We got to
So,
have a personal life too. And I think
yeah,
in this business, a lot of us forget that.
right. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to 87 transactions, you probably didn't have much of a personal life in 2025.
Right. That's what I want to have good work-life balance and
Mhm.
find more time to, I just got married like 10 days ago about.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I want, more time to spend with my husband and we'll hopefully start having a family soon. So I want to figure out, you know, work-life balance if there is a such thing for 2026 and take a couple trips, see some friends, and just kind of more narrow in our process and how we do things. That way it's much more streamlined than it already is.
Makes sense. Yeah. That
hmm
sounds like a great plan. You mentioned email earlier too, and
hmm
that's another thing that I'd love to chat a little bit about. When did you start building an email list?
It's probably been 2 years, maybe three. It hasn't been long. There's this, she's I think like a business coach that I listened to sometimes, and she was like, emails where it's at, emails where it's at. Even if people don't open it, like it's just another place for them to see your name.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll start doing email. And so I dedicate one mass email a month to everybody, just kind of like what's going on in the real estate world, a little bit about like what happened to me that month, what clients closed, things like that. And then also blasting out listings. So it's just more eyes on my listings. But yeah, it's kind of tough because you see the unsubscribe button, like, oh, so and so
Sure.
unsubscribed.
Yeah.
But I do think it's been helpful too, because a lot of times people, like past clients, see that, I listed their friend's house and, they might not see it on Instagram, but they got the email. So,
I agree. Yeah. Do you kind of wish that you had started growing an email list sooner?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That's what I think that's,
that'd be another tip.
yeah, another tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like it doesn't replace social media. I think it's just a great complement, great supplement
Right.
for it. And it's also, obviously property that you own and, you can move it
Mm-hmm.
around, you can transfer it, and you can kind of control it a lot more than you can um, your, your Instagram or TikTok accounts, that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
very true.
But also, I think a different kind of content resonates on it as well, and a different kind of client will, some clients prefer the social media
Mm-hmm.
channel, and others probably look forward to that email newsletter. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know I operate a couple new email newsletters here. One for this podcast, of course, and then one locally. And yeah, seeing the unsubscribe is. And I've stopped actually looking to see who it was
I
because
should probably stop looking.
I was, every now and then I'd catch myself. I was like, "Oh, who unsubscribed? I'm gonna
Yeah.
get them."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna,
wait a
I'm gonna
second.
call him.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably should stop looking. But
But yeah,
they send those emails are like, oh, you have 7 unsubscribers this month. And it's like, what?
yeah, right. I know it's heartbreaking. We don't get those messages from Instagram and Facebook, right?
Right.
They don't tell us.
Exactly.
So, um, yeah, email will give you some tough love because there's some analytics there that, will tell you if what you're doing resonates with your
Hmm.
subscribers. But yeah, 100% agree. It's like it's a very important channel as well, worth
Hmm.
nurturing. And all the content that you share on Instagram is easy to share in your email
Right.
newsletter as well. I think it's just like repurposing that across multiple
Hmm.
channels is really important.
Yeah.
What about networking? And I don't mean like BNI. I think when I bring up the topic of networking, a lot of folks assume that's what I'm talking about. So I want to be clear. Like when I think of networking, it's like identifying a potential valuable referral partner and then kind of building that relationship or nurturing that
Hmm.
relationship. Do you have like industry partners that you network with, referral partners and relationships that you've built?
Absolutely. So when I think of the networking word, I think more just maybe connecting as a better word. So I focus a lot of my time down in Southern Maryland. Like I said, it's small. There's not a lot of people here. We have a lot of local business. I grew up here. Everybody knows everybody. So finding kind of my time to connect with the local businesses and, you know, collaborate with them and work with them is probably my version of networking. And then obviously I have like my lenders and my accountants and my financial advisor that, I can connect with and pass referrals and stuff to. And, I can trust them to, if I send a client to them, that they would be taken care of. But I would say my version of networking is more just connecting with the local businesses. Every month, I drop off lunch to a local business just for free. Just drop it off. Hey, just wanted to give you guys lunch. Usually call them and see what their order is from somewhere local. That way it's supporting local business and someone, local is able to connect with me. So that would be, I would say, my version of networking.
That's really cool. That's a concept I hadn't thought of. That's innovative. I love that idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I agree. I think, when it comes to networking to make it valuable, I think of quality over quantity, right?
Right.
So, it's taking a little extra time, a
Hmm.
little bit more effort. But the idea of, I did early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I did just like everybody else, did the networking circuit, right? The
Oh,
the
yeah.
BNI groups and the local networking groups. And I remember this was 15 years ago. I remember being in a room with probably 60 people and looking around the room, and there was no organization to we're all in a big circle. I'm just like, what am I doing here?
Right.
And I looked around the room and I said, I don't think I'm the most broke person in here. I think like I don't see anyone really successful in this room, so like
Right.
I had to change my whole mind.
Yeah.
I gave up on that. And
Yeah, there's
but anyway.
there's definitely like BNI groups around here and people still do them, but I feel like it's more, cutthroat, those types of
Yeah,
groups.
yeah.
It's like, well, we can only have one of this and one of this and one of this, and don't you dare talk to anybody else. It's like,
Right. Right.
what is that?
It's funny. I'll digress for just a second on that topic, since you brought that up. Speaking of BNI, and this, I don't mean to bash BNI. I'm sure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there are some lovely, local chapters here and there. But I was recently, well, not recently, last summer, I
yeah. Hmm.
was invited to speak on a topic, marketing topic at a local BNI chapter that a friend belongs to, right? So I said, sure, I'll. It's the only way you're going to get me to a BNI meeting is if there's some purpose, right, for me to be
Right.
there. But while at half the meeting before I had to stand up and give this short presentation was the president and the vice president standing up there and just berating the members, like just like it. I felt like they were being sales managers, like,
Yeah.
and they were complaining about how there were not enough, like, we haven't seen, we've seen a dip in referrals, and you guys need to get together where you're supposed to be having coffee together once a week. It's like all this homework and all this stuff that
Yeah.
there's. I'm like, wow, I don't
This
get
doesn't sound
that.
fun at all.
Yeah, and they all pay to be members, right?
Right.
On top of
Right.
it.
It's wild.
It was disheartening for me. I felt bad, actually. I felt bad
Yeah.
for quite a few of the
Yeah.
people in the room. I thought, geez,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so but it did reassure me that I made the right decision to stop
Right.
bothering attending those types of networking events. Um,
There's certain people for the BNI groups, and
there are, yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I believe in finding your tribe, right? And
That's right.
one agent I spoke with recently up in Connecticut. She founded, or she was part of the organization. Oh gosh, I forget the name of it. It's an online group called something Local Moms or something like that.
Oh,
But it was like
okay.
it was a website and like a form, but as a group, like where they would get together and do different things. I don't know, throughout the month, and then other people do like running clubs and
Yeah.
pickleball or you name it. And I'm a big advocate for like finding your tribe, right? Finding your
Mm-hmm.
people, and
Mm-hmm.
just uh, picking a niche an inch wide and kind of going a mile deep.
Yep. I agree.
Well, I wish you an amazing 2026. I hope you don't do more than 70 transactions. I don't think I've ever said that to somebody.
I know my accountant said the same thing. He's like, okay.
But I get
Thank
it.
you. Thank
I
you.
totally get it. Delaney, this has been awesome. I'm so appreciative to you for joining the podcast. I'm so impressed with what you've been able to do in 10 years as a
Thank you.
licensee and the business that you built. Your marketing's outstanding, and just really an honor to have you on. For listeners who want to learn more about you and connect with you and maybe pick your brain about some Instagram marketing,
Yeah.
what's the best, or if they have a client that wants to buy a place in
In
your
Southern
market
Maryland.
in Southern Maryland, what's the best way for them to reach out and connect?
So my Instagram is at Delaney Burgess Realtor, but as I mentioned, I just got married, so I am changing my name. It's going to be Delaney Clarke Realtor as soon as I can get to that. So Delaney Burgess Realtor, or soon to be Delaney Clarke Realtor, and then Instagram's probably the best way to reach out.
I'll make a note to update that link in the description for this episode when you make that change. So
Thank you.
I'll do my best to pay attention to that and make sure that I make that update. So, but for now,
Thank you.
Delaney Burgess Realtor on
Yeah,
Instagram is the best
that
way.
is right.
All right,
Yes.
Delaney. Thank you again so much. Really
Yes.
appreciate it. Great chatting.
Thank you.